Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. Let's jump into Bellator Paris, man. It just happened. Did you catch any of it?
Yeah, I watched some of it.
All right.
I watched the Costello Van Steenis fight and Cedric Doumbe versus Jalil Willis.
All right. Well, let's get into those. Costello Van Steenis, he got the stoppage finish. They're promoting it like he's the number one contender for the title. It seems like. What do you think of that?
What do you think? That's pretty stupid if you ask me, but I'm not the one who makes the rules, man.
All right.
I'm not the one that does this. He what was he? He was on a losing streak, or he lost his last fight maybe to Douglas Lima. And Doug is no slouch, you know. Costello is a good fighter, but it's like to make it a number one contender fight. The dude took like 2-3 years off of fighting, and then had 2 fights. Won the first one against a no name, and then lost his most recent one, and then he fought Gregory Baben and beat him, and now he's getting the title shot. It doesn't make sense to me. I was on an 8-win streak. You know, lost my last one, had a poor performance, my last outing. And no talks of me being a fucking number one contender.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was ranked 5th with the Bellator rankings. PFL changed shit up. And I mean, he was he even ranked in top 10?
I think so. I think it was towards the end of the top 10.
I think he was like 9 or 10,
Yeah.
yeah. So everybody in the top 5 got a title shot except for me and Aaron Jeffrey. But Aaron Jeffrey beat me. He got his title shot, but he didn't want to wait until the fall because Johnny was doing that PFL versus Bellator fight. So they were going to make Aaron Jeffrey wait till the fall, and then he took the fight against Fabian Edwards because he wanted to fight. Took a risk, lost. But, I mean, he was the next contender before that fight. In my eyes, I get one more win. I should have been the number one contender. But like I said, I'm not the one who makes the rules. I'm not the one who, takes care of that shit. So I don't know what the hell they're thinking.
Yeah. I think Douglas Lima tweeted something out as well. Like, he was confused. Like, I just beat this dude. How is he the number one contender? You know what I mean? Like, he was kind of irked by it as well.
It makes no sense, bro. Literally none.
And Cedric Doumbe, man, great performance by him. Man, he got Jalil Willis really emotional, man, and he fought him. Did you feel that way? He fought real emotional.
Yeah, he was trying to get him out of there, but Cedric Doumbe, I mean, I would love to fight that dude just because he's talking shit about Americans. You know what I mean? Whenever he's talking shit about an entire country, it's super disrespectful. He was like saying, "I love knocking out Americans." It's like, dude, you're saying the wrong shit. And if they gave me that fight, I would love to kill that dude. But, who knows with what they're doing. I know he's a 70-pounder as well. But, I don't know. Maybe that's a fight after my next one. I can call him out. Maybe we can do a catch weight or something.
Yeah, I would love to see it, man. Go to Europe and fight him. Go to Paris and fight him. It would be nice. It's a good matchup. And with Bellator, man, they with the merger and everything, and this year when they put out the schedule, like, I think most of the shows are in Europe. What do you think of that? You're going to Europe to fight next.
I mean, I'd rather fight in the United States. I don't really care to travel. I'd rather travel on my own accord. But, that was as soon as they were able to get me in. I was trying to get on this Paris card, actually. And they said there was no room. They were able to get me on the June card. But if they weren't able to get me on June card, they weren't talking about fighting me to the fall. And I'm like, dude, I fought once last year. I was trying to fight 3 times. I fought once. And then now we're talking about May, June. And if I don't get a fight for May or June, you're talking about making me sit until the fall, September, October. It's like, that's over a year layoff. I'm young, 28 years old, and I've been with them since I was 23, since I was debut. I debuted with Bellator, and it's like, I would prefer to have more fights right now, but I know shit happens. I got injured a few times, but outside of the injuries, I've been like on them, pushing them, get me a fight, and it hasn't gone the way I would like it to. But I mean, I got one coming up now, so I can't really complain.
Yeah, you do. And was the PFL season ever an option for you?
No, they never offered that to me.
Right.
But they don't have a 185-pound division, and there's a lot of 205-pounders from my gym in that. There's Doublet, Yagmashurdov, Josh Silvera, Antonio Carade Sapato,
Yeah.
um,
A few, man.
Thiago Santos
Yeah. Yeah.
was in it. I
Yeah.
don't know what happened. And then I know Jocko was in it the prior year too. It's like full of ATT
Yeah.
guys, you know. If they made a 185-pound division, though, I'd be interested in doing it.
Nice. Well, until then, man, you're gonna be fighting for Bellator Dublin. Norbert, undefeated guy. What do you think of him, man, as a up and comer?
I mean, he's good. He's not bad. Uh, he has that karate style, the same style as MVP. Trains out of the same gym as him. It's like a taekwondo, karate style, whatever you want to call it. They're kind of interchangeable terms. Um, you say that to them, they might get a little bit, pissed off or antsy about it. But um, end of the day, they're similar. They carry a lot of similar traits, characteristics in their fighting styles. And I actually fought a guy with the same exact fighting style whenever I was amateur. After I fought him, I trained it a little bit, so I have a good understanding of it. I don't train it all the time, but I trained a little bit to try and add it to my game, see what I could take from it. And so I have a pretty good understanding of it, and I know a lot of it's timing. So they're in and out. They like to cover a lot of distance. They like to lunge, um, and a lot of it's timing. They're trying to time to counter. Um, you know, time the in and out movement to draw out a reaction and then hit them. There's a lot of it isn't like, so my guy isn't fast, not very fast. He drags his right hand a lot, but he has power in his hands, and he has good timing. He probably covers distance pretty well, but it's hard to gauge that stuff until I'm in the cage with him. I watch the film and I'm like, the guy I fought with the same exact style was better than this. I fought him as an amateur. And I'm actually going to go get some training with him pretty soon. I've been training down at ATT. Some guys have been helping me out this camp, but I'm going to go back and get some training with him too to see if he can help me out.
Nice. What's his name again?
The kid I
Yeah,
fought as
yeah,
an amateur,
yeah, yeah.
his name's Joe Iorio. He was, I think,
Okay.
5-0 when I fought him.
Yeah, second round punches finish, right? All right. Um, I saw that you had a shoulder injury. How did that all transpire, and talk about the recovery? And you worked with Elite Living. That's one of the people that you work with.
Yeah. So they sponsor me. They send me peptides, injectable vitamins, injectable minerals, amino acids, all that other stuff. So I injured my bicep tendon and my subscapularis, and it was in my right shoulder. So I was dealing with a lot of like issues. Like obviously, it wasn't very stable. I couldn't really. The day after it happened, I couldn't brush my teeth. I couldn't train at all. I couldn't really turn my thumb down. I couldn't do this motion. I couldn't like internally rotate. I couldn't grapple. Really couldn't do anything. It limited me pretty immensely. And Elite Living Health prescribed me some different vitamins and some different peptides and stuff. GHKCU, it's a collagen peptide, um, collagen and copper, and it's supposed to help with like repairing soft tissue injuries and stuff like that. A lot of people use it for like cosmetic reasons, like appearances, like they inject it in their face. They take the peptide, like tablets, they inject it in their hairline. It's supposed to help with that stuff, but it also helps with injuries a little bit too. There's been a lot of research and evidence recently that showed that it has. So we use that. And then obviously getting physical therapy. I got some PRP done, platelet-rich plasma. I got some stem cells injected in there. And I mean, it was like 10-week recovery probably. But they were talking about me possibly needing surgery, and I ended up recovering from it. So
Man, without all of that, without the science, how long do you think you would have took to recover from that? Especially getting the surgery, man. You're out for a year, probably, right?
yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't look that far into it. I didn't really want surgery to be an option for me, so I kind of like put that on the back burner and try to see like what routes I can go to help me heal. And obviously, PRP and stem cell are the first things I thought of, and other peptides and stuff like that. Physical therapy, obviously, and um, you know, I'm grateful to have them because who knows how long it could have been. Like you said, I could have got surgery. It could have been 6 months, a year. I could have tried to not go to surgery route and then not do the peptides, not do the stem cells, not do the PRP and all that stuff. And maybe I wouldn't have healed at all, and I would have had to get surgery, and I would just prolong the process. So, like I said, it was like 10 weeks whenever I first started back, obviously I started pretty light. It took me about like 4 weeks to get back into everything like full swing, and now I'm ready to go.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how many injuries fighters mask, like neck injuries, shoulder injuries, elbow injuries, knee injuries, hip injuries. So many injuries that you don't even know that they're going into fights or doing training camps with. But it's good to hear that you took the time and got the right proper medication and treatment to get fixed, man. Because sometimes that those things I hear guys talk about like years and years that just held on to injuries, man. You probably see it in the gym all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, but I mean, I fought with injuries before, and I really haven't like expressed it because I didn't want to, give my opponents like a target, and I didn't really talk about it after either, because there's really no point to. But there's some injuries you can fight with, and if it's close enough to the fight, if you're only a couple weeks out, you do what you can to make it to the fight. Unless it's a very important fight and you need to be 100%, and maybe some guys pull out. You know what I mean? I've never pulled out a fight, and I've had several fights where I've been injured. Probably a couple I should have pulled out of, but I didn't. But hindsight's 2020, And this shoulder injury I had, there was no fight news on the books or anything yet. So I kind of just took the time to recover, and they offered me a fight in March, actually against Fabian Edwards, but I had to turn it down because I still wasn't even 100% yet. So when they offered it to me, I still wasn't even training, wasn't hitting pads, I wasn't even able to shadow box or anything yet. So it's like the fight was probably like 8 weeks from when they were offering it to me, and I'm like thinking like, man, I'm not even training yet. I mean, who knows how long this could be? 3-4 weeks before I'm fully recovered, and then I only have 4 weeks to get ready. It wasn't ideal, so I had to turn it down just because I wasn't in the state to fight or train at all, really. And it ended up taking probably 4 or 5 more weeks. So by the time I was actually training again, it would have been 3 weeks out from the fight.
Yeah, man, and some guys would have took that fight. They would have just trained for 2 3 weeks and went into it.
Yeah, but guys that do that, they're doing it for money. You know what I mean? Maybe they're doing it for a paycheck. And for me, I want to be champion. I want to be the best in the world. And I don't want to set my career back because I took a fight on when I was injured and I wasn't even fucking able to train. And then, like I said, there was a lot of question marks. Maybe I wasn't even 100% come fight time. And it's like, a fight that important, a fighter that good. It's like I don't want to go in there with at 50%, if that. Don't even have half my body, or I guess a quarter of my body to use.
And I guess Aaron Jeffries is the one that, or Aaron Jeffrey is the one who took that fight, against Fabian, and your last fight was against Aaron. Take us through that fight. I mean, you started strong, and then it just kind of like, what happened?
I mean, you see what happened. I got tired. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses as to why I got tired, but just know that it wasn't a product of like my conditioning. I don't have issues with my condition. I don't have issues with my cardio. I know there's a lot of people that have a big question mark above my head now because of that. If you look the Romero Cotton fight too, I fought at maybe a higher pace than that. I'm not sure, but and I just for 3 rounds, I was just on him in his face the entire time. I was throwing big shots, wrestling a lot, and I was whiffing a lot of big shots. Whenever you swing hard and you miss, it takes more out of you. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of pressure on me that fight too. So I don't know. I mean, I like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and make excuses. I'm not in the business of doing that. I know some fighters do, and I know a lot of fighters do. They lose, and the first thing they want to do is come up with an excuse. So that you see my post right after the fight. I want to tell you why I didn't or I started wrestling, but I can't tell you. You know what I mean? Like it's not that I don't know, and it's not that I know completely. There's question marks in my own head, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to insert an excuse to make myself feel better, to make my fans feel better for me, to make myself put myself in a better light, saying like, hey, I might have been injured, or hey, this happened or that happened, X, Y, and Z. And then people are like, oh yeah, maybe he just lost or maybe he just got tired because he was injured. I'm not going to put that out there and then be be looked at as like a sore loser, and that I make excuses for my performance. I took the fight. I made it to the fight, and I stepped in that cage that night. So everything that happened is on me, and I'm not going to take it back. I made that decision, and what happened happened. And like I said, it still stings a little bit, but I can only look forward from here, and hopefully I can get that back one day. If not, who knows his trajectory? Maybe he's going to keep losing. Maybe I keep winning. Maybe we do meet each other for a title, maybe number one contender spot. I don't know. A lot can happen. Maybe one day I get it back, and if I don't, and I end up being champion one day, and he just ends up being, just another guy, and he gets to talk in the bar one day about how, yeah, I beat that guy. So be it. I would love to get it back, but at the end of the day, I'm not here. My goal isn't to beat Aaron Jeffrey. My goal is to be a champion, and I think I have the tools to do that. I think I'm better suited for it, and I think just matchup wise, that night he was the better person and the better fighter, and I just got to get better. I got to improve, and I got to fill holes that I had, and not make mistakes that I made in that fight and leading up to that fight.
Yeah, I've interviewed a lot of fighters throughout the years that were undefeated and, suffered their first professional setback. And before the fight and after the fight, you could kind of see a change in their energy or their vibe in the interview. But for you, it's the same. Like it doesn't seem like nothing changed with you. You're just like, hey, that happened. Let's get to the next one. So how do you want to perform in this one coming up?
I wanted to be my best performance to date. So a lot of people say my best fight was the Romero Cotton fight. I have to agree. I want to top that. I want to double that. So I've been training hard. I'm better than I was before and after the Aaron Jeffrey fight. I think I'm absolutely the best version that I've ever been. I'm better than I was during the Romero Cotton fight. I just got to go out there and perform like I 99% of the time to do, and I don't see myself having an off night ever again. That shit happened. It's in the past. It's not going to happen again. And like you said, some fighters, it ruins their confidence. And I know after the fight, there's a lot of people that don't like my personality, don't like how cocky I am, don't like me talking shit before my fights. And they were so happy. They were quick to jump on my post and start commenting right away. And like I said, I talked in several other interviews, and you kind of expect that. I'm putting myself in the fire, and I'm putting myself in a light where if shit goes wrong, you know, I can get made fun of. People are gonna fucking try to shit on me. People are gonna say the bad things about me, and I'm completely fine with that because the external. I've said this before. If I let someone else's opinion of me affect how hard I work, or affect my training, or affect my value in myself or what I think of myself, then that implies that an external force has an effect on what I'm doing. And at the end of the day, I know I can at least control how hard I work. And I know if I work as hard as I possibly can, I'm focused. I got the tools, the athletic ability, everything to be a champion in this sport and to be the best in the world. And like I said, I'm not going to let any external forces, especially people that don't fucking matter, try to tell me otherwise. They could think whatever the hell they want about me. They could like me. They could not like me. They could hate me. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, I like you, man, and we always have good conversations. Yeah, I mean,
I appreciate it, bro.
June 22nd, man. I can't wait, man.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I'm looking forward to it. 10 months off it'll be. And like I said, it's a lot of time spent in the gym. And I think I've gotten a lot better. And I can't wait to showcase it on June 22nd.